Welcome. Thank you again for your participation in the league this year. Living Turds has been a great success. I do think we should vote on a name change for our league next year. Living Turds rhymes with Living Word, but it's not the classiest thing, and I fully admit that. Um, Great participation this year by many. Uh, Sorry, we've kept the press conferences like this to a minimum this year, just because of wanting to limit COVID exposure. These are so heavily attended that um, we just have to be responsible. Couple things. A reminder. I believe payment is good for everybody except for Dave Christensen. He has not paid yet. We can decide if we want to boot him from the league or not. Um, I'm up for any options. If we do keep him in, Dave, you're going to win regular season. That was a $20 payout. We can just consider that your payment. You will not receive a winnings, but we'll treat that as if you paid us. Hope that makes sense. Remember, for those making the playoffs, it's a $130 payout. It's going to be $40 to second place, $20 to get your money back for third place, and then $20 for fifth place. That'll be the winner of the loser bracket. Now, the last three teams in that finish, last three in the overall standings, they're going to have to pay an extra $10. Right now, what that's looking like is it looks like Matt Cherry and Jim Marshall, Sam Marshall, and possibly Sam Kuntz are going to be in that running. Sam, if you win this week, you're in the clear from that extra $10 playoff. It's going to be kind of an interesting thing. It looks like Sam Marshall is automatically going to be in the extra $10 payoff. So just as a reminder, Sam, please get that money in as soon as possible. Following that, a couple other fun stats today. Boy, did I go on a run. I don't want to sit here and make this all about me, but it was incredible. Joe kind of kicked me out of the playoffs last week. All good things must come to an end. Still have a 24% chance of making the playoffs. As it appears right now, Jim Kuntz and Joe, along with, really me, Jim Kuntz, and Joe all have a percentage of the last playoff spot. It looks like Hunter's in, Dave's in, and Jason McKinnon's in. So we're kind of hunting for that last spot. It looks right now that Jim Kuntz has kind of the leg up on everybody for that last playoff spot. Good luck, Jim, this week. Another stat, if you look at the points against, once again, yours truly came up on the short end of the stick. 1,860 points were scored against me this year. If you look down at Jim Marshall, only 1,450 points. I've had over 400 more points scored against me than Jim Marshall in this league. 400 points. Can you believe that? It's sickening. But what do you do? I think this explains it. Last thing before we close here today, just as a reminder, everybody, playoffs, you play the same team for 2 weeks straight. What this does is it kind of eliminates whether you have guys on byes or not, or you have an off week. You still have a chance to kind of catch up. So you take the overall total points of 2 weeks. So you'll play the guy that you're playing in the playoffs the first week. Those points will be tallied like a normal week. Next week, you'll play them again, and you'll have 2 week total on both teams. I'm probably making this more confusing than it has to be. Whoever scores most points for those 2 weeks total. So even if you feel like you lost week one, you can catch them the next week in the week two of the playoffs. So there's going to be 2 rounds of playoffs, but each of those rounds, you're going to play the same person for 2 weeks straight. I think that clears everything up. Thanks for being a part of the league this year. Let's stay tuned. I'll maybe send out a text next week for after this week finishes up of who those bottom 3 teams are, so that we can have payout be full for the winners.